Good evening, and welcome to Preparing for Life Storms with Bear Prepper. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2013, and it's my pleasure to welcome you in tonight. We are on air from 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time, the first and third Tuesdays of the month on American Preppers Radio, powered by PrepperBroadcasting.com. We broadcast many different hosts 7 days a week, so please check out the host tab for more information on shows and times. You can also listen to all our previous shows under each host archive. If you'd like to join us in the chat room, come on over to PrepperBroadcasting.com and click on Listen and Chat at the top of the page. Scroll on down to the chat room, create your name or just accept the default, and come on in. You're always in for a lot of fun and some interesting conversation when you come into our chat rooms. Tomorrow night, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, we have Goat Hollow and Surreal News, the facts about where our world is heading. And don't forget, Bobby, MHP Gardener, will be on next Tuesday right here, same time, same place, on PrepperBroadcasting.com. He's our gardening guru, and he just got all the information. He's got greenhouses and gardens, and he's just an all-around great guy. So come join him next week at 8 p.m. Central Time. Now, first, I'd like to say I apologize for my voice. You know, when you're out in the dust and the air for many days, you can tend to lose your voice because you're not used to that dust and air. So tonight, I'm going to tell you why we've been out in the dust and air, and I'm going to have two wonderful guests with me. My first guest is Pet Prepper. Hey, Pet Prepper, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you doing this fine evening?
I am exhausted, but I'm doing really, really well.
And, folks, if you don't know, Pet Prepper is sitting in my living room while I sit in my bedroom. He came down to Texas just for this. So, welcome, Pat, and thank you so much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time with you.
It has. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Bear, for this wonderful trip. There's not words to thank you for this. It's been amazing.
It has been. And we also have our third musketeer, I'm going to call her, Genius in Exile. Hey, Jeannie, are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And, you know, G came down and joined us, so we had a girls' night out. Yes, Persian Cat Lover. It was definitely one of those. Unfortunately, it may not have been as much fun 24/7 as we would have loved for it to be. Right, girl?
Oh, yeah. It was hot.
Yeah, and exhausted and sore.
Absolutely. So for those of you that have come into the show and don't normally check what the description about, or notice that my description went up a little late this month, what we did is on my YouTube channel and on Pet Prepper's YouTube channel, and Genius in Exile is also a sponsor, we put up a challenge, the Prepping Unplugged Challenge. And what it was to survive an EMP for 48 hours at your location, wherever it was going to be, your bug out location or your home. I know 48 hours doesn't seem like a lot, but if you never practice, if you're a new prepper, or even if you're an old prepper, there are things you're going to find each time you do this that can make your life a little easier and a little less confusion. So we came up with some wonderful sponsors. I think we ended up with, 35 sponsors, Pat?
Yeah, I think that was about it so far, we still have over a week to go, so we may get more.
Yeah, and the prizes keep changing, but I think we're up over $1,200 or $1,300 in prizes now, so you still got time. Contest doesn't end until the 28th, which is next Tuesday, correct? So
I think so.
Get your video has to be simply show us some of the things you did and make sure they're EMP proof and give us a little after action review. You can go to Pet Prepper, Genius in Exile, Bear Prepper, and you can also go to any one of those channels and there'll be a list on their Prepping Unplugged challenge to tell you who all the sponsors are that you can also go to, and if they're accepting video responses, you can do a video response to them also. And we'd also like to encourage you to check out their channels and sub them and, check them out because we all do a lot of work into our videos. It's not an easy thing. And this is kind of an extension of my life here. Also, you can keep up with things that I'm doing on YouTube or on Facebook under P4L Storms, Preparing for Life Storms. So let's start with G here. G, what were some of the lessons that you, or things that you thought went good and things that you thought went bad or could be improved upon over this 48 hours that we did?
Well, it's funny. There's not really a good and a bad. There's just what you do and the pros and cons of it. Because remember, I was Little Miss Swiss Army G. We need a knife. Whoosh, there it was. We need a flashlight. Boom, there we go. So I was prepared, but I was heavily burdened. I had everything strapped to me as like Inspector Gadget. But
yeah.
I had to carry it around, and that was some, major terrain we were walking around in, and, may not have been too bad, but after about the third or fourth pass, you're really feeling that weight. So that's something. You can be as prepared as you want, but remember, the more preparation you carry with you, the more you're going to have to carry with you.
Yeah, and, when you speak of terrain, it's one thing to say, oh, that's a hill. It's another thing to be at my retreat and say, okay, that's a hill with a 2-foot step up and a 2-foot step down and then a huge slope, and rocks everywhere to take you off balance and everything separated, that you got to go, 40 feet, Pat, to get to the food, another 20 foot to get to the potty.
Yeah, and it's one thing to point and say, oh, there's a hill, but it's another thing to have to walk up and down it 100 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Brutal. It was brutal.
It was. And, I got to admit, my legs were dead a day before these two girls' legs were. But, I've also got a little bit of age on both of them, so I think I did pretty darn good. I kept moving. I was just hurting pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So what other things did you learn, G?
Well, I learned that air conditioning is a luxury I will most definitely miss if an EMP hits.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Pat, that cues you into what was the one thing that shocked you the most that has to do with air conditioning and heat?
Well, I don't have air conditioning per se, but so coming to Texas from Minnesota, and we had snow. I left there on Wednesday, and we had snow on the Saturday before I left. So that climate change and all of a sudden getting hit in the face with that heat, that Texas heat, whoa. You need to be able to,
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. You need to be able to what?
Well, you need to be able to, plan your steps and make a list while you're sitting there taking a break, and then walk up the hill to get all your stuff and carry it down instead of oh, I forgot this, and run back and forth, and it just, the heat was just, I was loving it because I've been cold for so long, but being thrown into this challenge, and man, if I had to live like this out of the blue when I wasn't used to it, it would probably kill me. It really would. It was really not good.
Well, you know, we went, Genius in Exile and I, we were at between around the 60s like the week before also. And it was 102 in the shade. And, gee, it was, 107 in the sun?
Yeah, it sure was. It felt like 150.
Yeah, so that's the heat index. You know, that humidity was way up there because we've had all that rain. And what I was trying to guide you to, Pat, was the smelly part.
Oh, yeah. The one thing that I would miss the most, I think, other than Doritos at, just running into the store and getting Doritos, would be smelling good. We had the luxury of having a shower, and half an hour after we took that shower, well, we were hugging a lot, so one of us would take a shower, an hour later they would be stinking, and we would hug in between, and so the person that just got out of the shower would hug the stinky person. They would put their stank on you, and you would stink again half an hour after you got out of the shower. But just walking around and sweating all day. And Bear, do you want to talk about the bras? Do you?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to. One of the most important things that I found, and that I was not prepared for, ladies, make extra bras, lots of them, and men, extra undershirts, because I'll tell you what, after I only packed one bra like a dummy, it's only 2 days, you only need one bra, and it was so bad when I took it off that, I was holding it by the tips of my fingers and putting it into the washer because it was just so rank. You're working really, really hard. Everything takes forever to do because, it's not like your kitchen. You walk into your kitchen, and you have your stove here, your refrigerator here, your table here, and your cupboard right there, and you've got maybe 10 steps between everything. It was, like they said, it was like 40, 50 foot just to go up the hill to the shed, back down, and then you find you forgot something, and you go back up and back down. And, yeah, we had 3, 4, 5 people doing these. Well, 4 people doing these things. We also had Sarah OR 7983 with us. And so you're not doing all the work yourself, but, oh, my goodness, all the steps. It's just exhausting and smelly and hot. And you're over the fire, so you're even hotter, So, but it was quite a learning experience. And, ladies, what's the one thing we did wrong? Well, first let me say our challenge was a solar EMP is what we chose to do. And the reason we chose to do that was because Genius in Exile and Pet Prepper were coming down. So I made the call, okay, there's a solar flare happening in 24 hours. Get here now. So Pet hopped on a plane, G hopped in her cars, and we met at my house, and then we went out to the retreat. And, folks, check it out on YouTube over the next few days. I hope to get it up. You'll see how Bear handles people coming to her retreat. So it should be a lot of fun. But then we got out to the retreat. We waited a little while before we started the challenge because we had to wait for the EMP to hit. And we did a mess up, ladies. What's the mess up we did? And I don't care which one of you talks about it.
The radio?
What disqualify? Yeah. Because what happens, G, if a solar flare happens?
You've got no radio stations, but you know what? Nothing goes better with 107-degree weather than old Lionel Richie.
Yeah, so all 3 of us would have been totally disqualified.
Yep, we blew it. We really did. We blew it because of the radio. And, this was a pretend thing, so we didn't think about that when we were doing our challenge. So if we were entering, that would have been devastating because we worked so hard to do the right things. And if we would have been entering this contest and then realized that we couldn't, added all those videos because it had a radio in the background or music, it would have just killed us.
Yeah, but, it also doesn't mean that lessons aren't learned. So we're not disqualifying people if they didn't know. Like, I think there was someone that had an EMP-proof bag done incorrectly. We're not disqualifying them for that. We check the comments to see if someone told them how to do it correctly, and their video's in. So, we're not being that hard. We would on ourselves, but, that's us being hard on ourselves. So what else?
We got to set the example.
Why don't we talk about some of the things we did for entertainment?
Oh, no.
All right.
If you can tell
it's not as bad as we're making.
Laugh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat.
All right. Well, we had some time to think about this beforehand, and so, we're all pretty clever. So we came up with, should I just give the list and then we can, people can watch our videos?
Yeah.
Okay. So we came up with Prepper, Truth or Dare, and G was ambitious and kind enough to make cards up. And we came up with Prepper Charades. We came up with Prepper Bingo, which we didn't end up playing. Prepper Pictionary, and was that it?
Oh, and we tried to have the dung beetle races, but they flew away.
Yeah, dung beetle races, yeah. And we also had, the girls had a little bit of fun with Bear Prepper all the time, so.
All weekend. Yeah, and that's going to continue. The people that are left here in Texas and don't get to go back to Minnesota are going to continue that fun.
Oh, yes. That tradition will stay forever.
Yeah, and well, I suppose we should tell the people what that was, huh, Bear?
No.
No. They have to watch the video?
Yeah, because I don't want everybody here knowing. If they don't watch my video, maybe they don't need to know.
Yeah, well, I got my fair share of that, too, remember? It started to rain on me.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yep, I remember that. So, it wasn't raining. Oh, now we get it. When we were watching the video.
There you go. Okay, guys, it looks like we've got Feel Me One in queue, so we're going to go ahead and invite her in. Let her join in. Come on in, Feel Me One.
Yeah, this is Michael. How are you guys doing?
Well, hello, Michael.
Three of my more favorite gals on YouTube.
I love Michael. I absolutely love this guy.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And it sounds to me like I'm talking to Pet.
Yep.
Yeah, Pet. And then there's Renee, and there's Bear Prepper. I've never spoken to Bear Prepper before. But, Bear, I thank you. You are the one that got me brave enough to try home canning. And,
wonderful.
Canning meats and canning raw meat, If I am successful with my garden, then, what I'm most nervous about, well, I know how to can meat now. What am I going to do with these vegetables, but I'll learn that later. But you guys have been a great help to me. Yeah. And Genius in Exile, I have communicated with you once and again back and forth regarding those pepper seeds. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, but I never did hear anything back from you. I fell into kind of a sick spell, and you did, and things kind of got disjointed there. But given the climate that Bear is in, they're around the San Antonio area, no problem. You know, she can go ahead and put these out, and they will grow 12 months. You know, at worst, you may need to prune them back and mulch them a little bit, you know, to overwinter. And the same thing with you. In I think you're from the Jacksonville area, right?
No, sir. I'm actually Gulf Coast in the Houston area.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can do the same thing. For some reason, I thought you were from Florida.
I think you're thinking of Michigan snow pony.
Yeah, but the same way. You know, I'm in a zone 8B, 9A, and basically, you know, to grow just about anything, you know, or rather to always have something in the ground. You know, we have a 12-month growing season, you know, and, you know, the seeds, I still have them. I certainly am willing to send them somewhere, but you never did answer me back. But, you know, I'll send them wherever you want me to.
I was kind of, you know, face down for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. You went through a very rough spell there. I certainly understand. And Pet Prepper, you are so naughty. I still owe you a Christmas song. I still owe you a Christmas song that we cannot do right now. All right.
Okay, that's probably good.
Yeah, it is so un-PC that it's ridiculous, but I can't tell you how much I enjoy watching you girls' videos. You know, I really do. I learned so much, and I have experimented with and successfully tried so many things learning from you, especially you, Bear, you know, regarding canning, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, really? Anybody that fears doing home canning, there's no fear. It's so easy and so rewarding, and such an investment of time and money. The payback is so great, you know, and you know, I continue to do it. I only started doing that like about 2.5, 3 months ago, and
wow.
You know, I've gone into canning pork, beef, chicken, ham, shrimp. Believe it or not, the shrimp that would come from Renee, you know. But I tried a raw pack, and that didn't work out so good. But it's still edible, you know. So I'm happy with it. And you know, I really think that anybody listening should overcome their fears and take advantage of whatever meat they're able to either hunt, catch, buy on sale, and then put that in jars and store it back, or jerk it. You know, I've been doing a lot of dehydrating lately, you know, and
well, you know, Peel Me One, that's what you need to do with all your veggies, is dehydrate them, because they turn wonderful. And we're going to be having some videos up over our challenge of us using nothing but our food storage and having some wonderful, wonderful meals with it. So I thank you so much for your kindness and wonderful words, and want to wish you a wonderful evening.
Well, I thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
I really do enjoy you ladies. I watch as soon as I see you guys post one, I'm right there. You know, to be one of the first. But I don't say I'm first, but sometimes I am. You know, because I'm right on it, like a duck on a June bug. I'm right there. You know, to watch the video and see what I see. I'm entertained. I'm educated. And I just love it, you know, from all three of you gals right there.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening.
I bid you good night.
Good night.
And I'm really enjoying the show. So take care.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, that was wonderful. And, you know, it is so encouraging when you hear of people that have paid attention to what you did or even watched what you did and made all the time and effort you put into it worthwhile. So we thank you very much, Michael. Feel Me One was his YouTube name. Well, it looks like, ladies, we have Yankee 4 in queue. And I think Yankee 4 put up a video for the challenge, so I'm really interested to hear what he has to say. Hey, Yankee 4, come on in.
Hey, sweeties, how are you? It's so nice to hear your voice.
I'm doing great. It's nice to hear you
in person for once, too, after
following you
guys for so long. Well, I wanted to say, first of all, I hope you guys liked my interpretation of the video. I kind of thought about it, and I looked at it as, you know, pretty much anybody could not prepare at all could make it 48 hours without power or water, just with what they had in their house. And me being in town and the little apartment, I figured, you know, I'm going to do it as if it was a EMP attack in a raw situation where I would need to have a firearm, you know, stay indoors, you know, never leave the safety of my home type thing. And that's kind of why I did a scenario video. I hope that was okay. I didn't want to just do, you know, this is how I did it. I kind of played a little bit different. I don't know, you know, you guys didn't really give exact rules on that, and I wasn't sure.
You did really good, and I was really glad you did because we looked at it the same way. It wasn't a 48-hour challenge to us. It was, we've been in this mess for a month now, and this is what life would be like. You know? Yeah, because that's how we're going to learn. We're not the people who are just starting out. So you have to change it up to match your scenario.
And everybody's preparing for different things, so you have to, you know, prepare for what you're preparing for.
Right, and, you know, the thing is it was really difficult for me with Crohn's disease. I had to, you know, I've always, even when I went through Hurricane Hugo, we always had water. When I lived out in the country, I always had water from my solar. So not having running water was a big shocker to me. Was one of the first things I learned real fast. I went through a lot of water without even my wife being here, and I realized, wow, you know, first thing I need to do is store more water. And I didn't, you know, people say water, and, you know, I know, like, you can only live 3 days without water, so on and so forth. But it really woke me up. And, you know, I never really thought about doing that until you guys came up with this idea. And, you know, the prizes are great and everything, and I'm not putting that down. I do contests because I want to support my friends and family, you know, here on YouTube and all the hard work they put in. And the prizes are secondary. Usually I give them away. But, you know, I said, I just had to do this, and I was like, you know, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to film it, you know. I didn't even, honestly, I was going to do it without even filming it. And then I said, you know, I might as well make a video out of it. So I learned so much. And another thing, you know, with a raw situation where, you know, that would be for, you know, in an EMP attack after a few days, people are going to start going crazy. You know, having to carry a firearm, a long arm with you all the time sucks.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, God, every time you go to the restroom, every time you go do this, you know.
Can I say something about that? We had planned to carry firearms with us the whole weekend for our scenario. And, oh, my gosh, I think after the first hour, we put them all down because they were in the way. They were having, and if we were in a real situation, we would force ourselves to do it. But it got more exhausting carrying them around, and you only have one arm, wow. I mean,
exactly.
Stuff that we're going to have to endure.
Yeah, you know, and the thing with me is I didn't have a sling for that rifle, so I had to carry. Actually, I got to work on that. That's a big thing I've got to work on. And I had to, you know, every time I'd go to the restroom or anywhere, I mean, just in bed at night. You know, I'm used to carrying a concealed weapon. That's one thing. That's normal. But a long arm is a pain in the butt. It is literally a pain in the butt. I mean, you got it with you 24/7. And then the other thing I learned is, which I knew this, I got to have some way of cooling at least my safe room. And I should tell you this, if I do win your challenge, I'm going to use the money to go towards a simple solar system to run that window unit that I have and maybe a few extra lights. because it's something that I live in South Carolina, and I live in the low country, and you guys are talking about the heat and humidity. Today it was 97 degrees with 99.7% humidity, so, you know, you sweat and it don't do any good, and that's how it stays until, you know, late. I mean, last October Halloween Day, it was like 80 degrees out. So, you know, a lot of people have to prepare for the winter, you know, you guys being in Michigan and whatnot, but it's the opposite for us here, and that was miserable. I didn't sleep because of it, and, you know, that was the big reason my wife didn't want to be involved. She's great at the prepping and enjoys it, but between that and the toilet thing, she just wasn't going to go for it. So.
we learned a lot about the toilet thing.
Yeah, so she was.
It wasn't a big deal for us, so
honestly,
we had fun with it.
Yeah, she's really fun and playful and that kind of thing, and into those kind of things. But she just, with work and everything, and her sister being in town, you know, she's like, I'm gonna take advantage of going to see my sister, and I was like, I respect that and understand that. But I just really, really want to tell you guys how much it meant to me to do the challenge, watch the videos. I have really enjoyed watching all the videos. And I do apologize for the length of the video. I tried to do the very best. As you guys know, in 48 hours, actually I made it 47 hours and a half because I had to use my phone to call my doctor for one of my prescriptions because I was out of my blood pressure medicine. But other than
you know, all we asked was that you tried to make it 48 hours. You're not going to be DQ'd because you didn't. So that's wonderful that you made it that long.
And what I did was for that extra 30 minutes, I just added it on into later so that I made it a full. But I tried, and I really, really, this was actually the most fun. I've been on YouTube for over 2 years now, 3 years, and this was the most fun video I've ever made in my life. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I just learned so much, and I really appreciate it.
There are going to be so many people learning from what you put up. I mean, I learned a lot from what you put up. So don't, you know, second-guess that part because that's what it's all about. Every time someone watches it, they're going to learn something that's going to apply to them. So you've affected a lot more people than you can imagine.
Well, that's awesome, and that's the whole point of doing it, right? That's why we do YouTube, and that's why we want to learn and teach, and that's what it's all about, you know. I do have to say one thing. The paper plates and the plastic spoons, I never even thought about prepping those, but having to wash stuff by hand and only having so much water on hand, it's a good idea to put some of those up. I really wish I'd have had that because washing dishes is not fun when you don't have running water, you know?
Yeah.
So I learned so much. Oh, and, you know, the shower thing. I learned, you know, the whole I had to do warm the water on the grill and try to just do the best I can with, you know, so, yeah, you just don't, and you know, like you were talking about earlier, too, the boredom. You guys, I had to do it on my own, but, you know, when there's no power, I didn't cheat. The only time I did, you know, you guys said it was okay if we could charge our cameras. My camera died. Yeah, my camera died, so I had to charge my camera one time. But other than that, you know, I did not cheat whatsoever. I kept my firearm with me, and you know, I just played cards and that kind of thing. And I actually just read a lot of prepper books that I've gotten. So I really enjoyed it. I just can't get it. I can't get enough of it. I think next time I'm going to try doing this for a full week when my wife is going out of town, and and you guys inspired me to try this for a full week. So I really appreciate it.
I can't wait to see the video that you put up when you do that because I tell you what, Bette and I thought we were going to go an extra day because we were having so much fun towards the end. And we woke up that next morning and went, no, who are we kidding?
Were you guys amazed how exhausted you were from having to do so much extra stuff?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and, you know, we have some early risers and some late to bedders. And because this was also a social visit, because Pet Prepper, it's the first time meeting her in person, you know, we tried to stay up or go to bed, you know, get up early or whatever, you know. And so I think I got, in 3 days, I got maybe 12, 13 hours sleep.
Wow.
And along with all that work, and so I was really, really exhausted. And I'm not young for chicken, so.
All right, well, I don't want to take up any more time, but I just want to say again, I really enjoy you guys' videos. You guys know I watch all your videos, and like the other gentleman was saying, I look forward to seeing you guys put up new videos, and it's very fun. And you know, the best part about the whole deal is I came to YouTube to learn, and I never expected to do any more. The only reason I even made a channel was to be able to communicate back and forth and, you know, leave a comment. And then I said, you know, I feel like I'm taking and not giving back, so I started doing some things. And I really appreciate how much you guys put into commenting back, and you know, that means a lot. And you guys have big channels, and Bear, well, hell, I've known you at least 2 years. I remember doing your, what was it, 50 sub contest?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, you know,
well,
it's...
Yankee, honey, I'm so sorry. I would love to chat with you all night, but we've got a few...
Yeah, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you for calling in. You have a wonderful night, and thank you for participating in this. All right, ladies, we got them coming in, and we hope you all keep coming in, because everybody's got something to share. So it looks like now we've got MMCC67 in queue. Hey, MMC, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Hey,
I love your videos. Oh,
Thank
I'm good.
you.
I'm good. I was sitting here and my computer went all black, and anyway, but at least I can hear you. You know what? I haven't participated in your contest, but my question is about dehydrating. Now, I am just new to this, okay? And I've watched a lot of dehydrating videos. But I go to use the things I've dehydrated. Example, last night I went to, rehydrate celery. And it doesn't rehydrate properly. So, you know, I tried pouring the boiling water in it, waiting a little while, and then throwing it in the pot with everything else. And it's still sort of chewy when I'm ready to eat the meal. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Do you blanch it beforehand?
Not everything. I did not blanch the celery, no.
Okay.
No.
That's a lot of people, you know, they don't tell you need to blanch things. But, for example, a lot of people will teach you to blanch green beans for 2 or 3 minutes, and you'll be fine. I blanch my green beans in the microwave for probably about 6 minutes. When my green beans dehydrate, at the same rate as mushrooms, they are completely full.
Really? Okay.
So it's all about the blanching. And I said, I choose the microwave because of the fact that the nutrients, you don't have to use very much water, and so you're not washing all those nutrients away. I know the microwave is not the best thing in the world for you, but in an SHTF situation, I want my food to be palatable for everybody. So try blanching. Celery you can get away with blanching for probably, if you've got a big Ziploc bag, say half full of celery, I would probably blanch mine for 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes on each side. And when I say each side, just flip the bag over.
Right.
And do that. If you're doing it in water, you want to blanch it until it's just the point before it cooks, and then dehydrate it. And it'll make a huge difference.
Okay, well, I learned something then. I mean, I've been blanching carrots just maybe 2 minutes. I have a feeling I'm not doing it enough.
Well, carrots are one of the few that you don't have to blanch, and they're still going to rehydrate fine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they're one of the few that it actually works with. Mushrooms, they will be a little chewy, but, oh, my goodness, the intense flavor, who cares?
Exactly. Well, you know what? Thank you for these tips. I really appreciate it, and I won't hold you up any longer. I really enjoy your YouTube channels, ladies. Anyway, just keep putting those videos out, and I'll keep watching them. So have a great night. All righty. Good night. Bye.
All right, ladies. It's pretty wild here. We're going to have to take a few minutes or a moment break to hear from our sponsors, and I think we have sponsors. And then we're going to come back and call in Autumn.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Joe and Amy Alton, the authors of the #1 Amazon bestseller, The Doom and Bloom Survival Medicine Handbook. See their articles in Backwoods Home, Survivalist, Self-Reliance Illustrated, and Survival Quarterly magazines. Visit Joe and Amy's website at www.doomandbloom.net.
Hey, I'm Frank Bates. I just created a free video at survivewithsolar.com that exposes the electricity monopolies and the government for what they really are, incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your fear to keep your power bills criminally high. My video at survivewithsolar.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret of how I beat them and how you can beat them too. Go to survivewithsolar.com and discover one weird trick to slash your power bill and protect your home before they make me shut it down. Again, that's survivewithsolar.com.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we've got Autumn Prepper in queue. Hey, Autumn.
Hey, ladies, how's it going?
Hi, Autumn.
Well, first of all, I'd have to say that if I was with you three, I'd have to pack extra underwear because I would be laughing so damn much.
We did. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, but I wanted to, do a shout out for prayers for the families in Oklahoma. If anything's a life lesson, it's one of those instances in life when, anybody can be caught off guard. You might not have hours or days to, do what you need to do to, or get to where you need to get. So, I think about that. I'm sure there were preppers there that had lost everything, and, it's a, very, very hard lesson in life. And, stuff like that makes you think exactly, what would you do if you didn't have a bug-out place to go to? Right. What would be the alternatives in that kind of situation? Here in Long Island when Sandy hit, we still see it now. The news isn't covering it anymore, but there are still people in, serious situations. But I think, in an EMT situation, I know that I'd be toast. I would just be toast. Because I don't know if I could fully prepare for something like that. I think, I have some things. I actually have one of those, camp chef stoves that can actually be used for heating and for cooking, and I have, some solar things that are actually in a Faraday cage and, limited stuff, but I just don't think in an EMT, because it's not just affecting you, it's affecting everybody around you. So, right. I don't know exactly, I don't know exactly how that would completely unfold is what I'm trying to say. And right. Is it something that you guys have thought of, or, what would you do? You'd be kind of stranded.
What we ended up doing was trying to think, okay, what would it affect? So we decided not to use the generators. We decided, to only use what was in the Faraday box, which was a couple flashlights and our hand crank radio, which was our downfall because of the music, not even thinking that would be a problem. Chose not to use the walkie-talkies and the communication devices, any of those things, watches or anything like that. But I got to tell you, we were really lucky. My bug-out location is down in a gully. So we could make as much noise as we wanted and not a soul could hear us. And we could see if anybody was coming up because of security measures that we have in place. But it's a really hard thing to think about. And, that's like people make mistakes, and that's what it's all about, learning. As long as you make an effort to do something to see what your situation might be like, it makes you think, what's wrong with this picture? Like I wouldn't want to be in a house if we lost power. Houses today are not designed like they were back in the 20s and 30s with the windows up high so you get a cross breeze. Houses today are going to be worse than my shed. And so right. You put your food there and it's toast.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that it's just stuff like that it would make it so hard to imagine all the things that you would face. I've thought about it a lot, exactly, what I would do in that situation. I just think it would be, I'm a survivor. I know that somehow I would figure out something, but I think there's definitely a lot of things that you would just have to, figure out the hard way, unfortunately. But
yeah.
Anyway, thank you much, ladies, and continue enjoying the show.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you.
So I have talked forever, and so which one of you girls want to talk?
I will.
Well, okay, I just want to say something about Autumn. I know her, and she's pretty clever. I think she's going to be just fine. So thanks for calling, Autumn.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, G.
Well, the biggest thing I can bring up as far as preparedness, you can be as prepared as you think you can be, but you're never going to be completely prepared for for any possibility. So that's where, your wit, being clever and, just, I guess your own little personal MacGyver, kind of coming up with what you can, to get through the situation or just learn how to go without it. But in any instance, no matter what, be prepared to laugh. You've got to laugh. If you're not laughing, then, what are you living for, That's the one thing I think that would get us through it all is the laughter and the love and, just looking at the sweaty, stinky person next to you saying, well, I'm sweaty and stinky with you. What a pair,
You know what, G, I think all of us laughing as hard as we did all weekend contributed more to our exhaustion than going up and down that stupid hill.
That and getting trapped under a folding chair, that'll do it too.
We had so much fun. We did. We worked hard, but we had a lot of fun.
We did, and we learned a lot, and we did a lot of interesting things that we hope that you guys will all learn from. And maybe it's something that you want to utilize, or you can see a better way to do it, or give us some feedback on things that we could do to make our life a little better. It's kind of like the shower. We had an on-demand hot water heater. And so we had boiling hot water, which if we turned the dials up, it would have been boiling hot water. But because it was 102 degrees out, we didn't need the hot water.
I didn't turn it on.
Yeah, we didn't want it.
So we sorry, I had to cough. We just used the water pump part. And, I really think that I would upgrade that water pump.
Well, see, that water contraption, that wonderful water contraption where I live, in the wintertime, we had talked about that. If we got one of those, we would have to figure out a place indoors that we could have it drain and not freeze outside so it backs up. We would have to have, it would just be completely different in Minnesota to have that than it would be in Texas. That would be a really big job to figure out how to drain that in the wintertime. So
yeah, absolutely. And then what do you do when in the wintertime you have no water?
You have to what?
You'd have no water, if you drained your tank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a lot of snow we can melt. And I know it takes a lot of snow to melt to make water. But, yeah, you have to have a water pump or, a well or whatever. But holy cow, there's so much to think about. Like the luxuries I had when I came to Bears are going to be completely different. And we had talked about the girls coming to my place next year to do the challenge. But what do you think about that, Bear and G?
I think it's awesome.
They don't want to do it in the snow.
No. I think that'd be a pretty good thing to try, though. Because remember the conversations we've had. I don't know about Bear. I found
Bear says no.
She's going to turn into a bear-sickle.
She would turn into a bear-sickle.
I'd be hugging you guys all 24/7, just trying to stay warm.
Well, we wouldn't stink nearly as bad.
That's true.
The stink pretty much freezes right off your body, so you're okay. You don't stink very much.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't have foot stink if your toes have fallen off.
I think that was the thing that surprised me the most, that we took a shower every day. We were lucky enough to have plenty of water, And, oh, my goodness, it did not help. It made us feel better, though. And that was one thing that I don't think we thought of before, is having something to just make us feel better.
Oh, and pack clothes. You guys put a lot of clothes at your bug out or in your preps, because you're going to be washing them by hand, which is going to be harder on them than, I think, than washing in the machine. They're going to wear out faster. You're going to be changing 3 times a day just so that you aren't having all that bacteria, from the sweat on your body. And socks, I learned a really big lesson about socks. I brought sandals to the retreat, and you cannot walk around Texas in sandals. There are so many rocks, and, scorpions. I did not know this. So I wore tennis shoes with the same pair of socks all weekend because we were too exhausted to wash laundry.
Oh, yeah. That's why I wore my boots almost the whole time. I was afraid of scorpions, too.
I'm not afraid. Nothing seems to bother me. I can get lye in my face, and it doesn't bother me. I'm always...
Super bear.
Yeah, I get a scorpion bite, and it's like, oh, what was that? But
yeah,
I'm just one of the lucky ones. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring you to Minnesota and see how well you deal with frostbite, huh?
And ladies, we aren't talking a lot about food because we were pretty well set up with food. That wasn't an issue, what we were going to eat or how we were going to eat.
It was whether or not we wanted to.
Right.
During lunchtime, we're getting ready to eat, and we just kind of sat around and looked at each other and thought, ugh, it's too hot to eat.
So we opened jars. I had fruit, and, you had chicken and...
Pat had a beer.
Pat had a beer?
Hey, Bear, do you want to talk about the ice situation? Because we knew this was going to happen.
Right. So when you know something's going to happen, you're going to empty your fridge of ice and put it in an ice chest. That's what you're going to do. And so that's what we did. And our soda bottles, we had 4 soda bottles in an ice chest, and it kept everything cool enough that we were able to feel the temperature change and enjoy having our drinks or whatever. So, that right there is something that wouldn't be the same. But, what was it that you told us how we can make ice?
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to remember, ammonium hydroxide or ammonium sulfate. I'm trying to remember which one it was. If you mix up a concentration of that until it's robin's egg blue and put a metal bowl of water on top of it floating, the reaction will actually freeze the ice, but it has to be a metal bowl.
So all about retreat are metal, and we're going to keep pressuring G to put one of those videos up because I want some of that here in Texas.
Let my birds fly.
And Crafty Pepper is asking, can a scorpion kill you? No. It can make you hurt real bad. I guess if you're allergic to them, it could kill you. But
I think they would make you high.
Yeah, you can get hives and everything else, and your foot can swell up because they're normally going to go for your feet or your hands. Here in Texas, you don't ever pick up a rock. You kick a rock and then pick it up.
Well, it'd make me have a heart attack.
You get up in the morning, and you pick up your shoes, and you tap your shoes on the ground to make sure you don't have a scorpion in your shoes, because that's where they want to be.
I did not get to see one all weekend, or all week. I haven't seen a scorpion, and that's what I wanted to do while I was here in Texas.
Yeah, but at least you got to see dung beetles.
I think that was even more fun. We had so much fun watching the dung beetles. Oh, that was hilarious.
I thought it was a bug coming down the hill at first. You
can see them from like 25 yards away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, ladies, we have learned some valuable lessons, and we have just had a wonderful time with this. And I thank you both for being at my retreat during this challenge and being my friends and giving me such wonderful memories to have. And I want to remind everybody out there, you still can do this. You have until the 28th to get your video posted. And it doesn't have to be long. It's really hard not to make it long because we're finding that out now. But it doesn't have to be long. You know, show us some things that you've done. Give us an after-action review. And even if you don't win anything, all of us will win from your videos. So please, get your entries in. Ladies, would you like to say anything? G, you want to go first?
Sure. This Unplugged challenge was definitely an eye-opener, but the way I was blessed to be able to do this, I got to know even better two wonderful ladies, and they're so smart, so clever, and just absolutely wonderful. Or she is absolutely wonderful. Oh, actually, I got to know three wonderful ladies and get to know myself as well, as far as what my limits are, what I was willing to do, willing to learn, and there's just so much more out there, but it's okay because it'll be an adventure and it'll be a journey. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again, and I was very honored and humbled to have been invited to spend this Unplugged challenge with you wonderful people.
Oh, thank you. And Pat?
Okay, I'm going to cry again.
We did plenty of that.
I just want to thank you both so much, and wow, what an experience to be able to come and meet Bear and teach him down for the weekend, and I am really speechless right now. I'm going to start crying, so I just want to thank you both.
Okay, don't do that. Go off now. All right, folks. We thank you for being here tonight, and I've loved the questions and the callers and the information that you guys have been sharing in the chat room. It's just been really, really wonderful tonight. And I will see you Tuesday, June 4th at 8 p.m. Central Time, where I don't know what we'll be talking about yet because I've had company and I haven't thought about it, but we'll talk about something really good. But for now, you can find more from me on YouTube under Bear Prepper or on Facebook under P4L Storms, and also here on the first and third Tuesday of every month on PrepperBroadcasting.com. And by the way, thank you, G-Man and DB, for taking such good care of my chat room guest tonight. And you there, thank you for spending your valuable time with me. Good night and blessings. And I love you, girls.
Love you.